Hey guys, today I'll be taking you through an exciting new distro, Zorin OS 15. I just installed a fresh copy on my 2015 MacBook Pro, and today I'll be showing you some of the cool features as well as my setup. First thing I like to do with the new distro is go in the settings and configure my desktop. So we'll check out those settings in Zorin. If you go into Appearances and click on the option Zorin Appearance, you have an interface sort of like GNOME Tweak Tools. Here you can see that we have three desktop options. We have the Windows desktop, the Slim Windows desktop, and the classic GNOME desktop. I'll show you guys the GNOME desktop first. I think the UI is really good. I think it looks a lot like configured Ubuntu desktop, and it has a lot of transparent aspects like you'd see in Pop OS or Elementary OS. I like to have my home and trash cans on the desktop. Here you can see that you have 6 different options for accent colors. They all look great. I've been going with a default, the blue, because that looks really good on the Retina screen that I have. As far as background colors go, you have the classic white, you have the adaptive, which is actually a new feature in Mac OS as well, and you have the dark mode. I was going to go with the adaptive, and I think I will still go with it, but for the video I went with the dark. Now we'll check out some of the apps that come pre-installed. So this is one of the most advanced stock calculators I've ever seen. There's a basic mode, advanced mode, which has tons of formulas. Financial mode can convert any currency. Programming mode is filled with cool features, hexadecimals, binary, and others. And the keyboard mode's really similar to something you see with like R.LUM.R or another web client. I thought the map application was really performant and really refined, even though it's just built on the same API as a lot of other map applications, the OpenStreetMaps API. I think this is a great text editor. It's built with the same perfect UI as the rest of the elements in the distro, and it comes with some plugins. You can also install other plugins to the stock text editor. See that it comes with the normal default games, some pretty standard graphics that any other Linux distro would come with. So far, I've seen Zorin's default beautiful web browser layout in Firefox and Brave. Firefox is obviously Mozilla, Brave is based on the Chromium platform, so it might go around to other browsers. In person, this color is incredible. It's like a cyber carbon theme. The calendar is pretty good for a default calendar. It's performant. It has a beautiful UI. I did notice later on though that it was using a lot of resources. The email client's pretty cool. I turned it off because I noticed it was also using a lot of resources, but it does come with all the default, another calendar, contacts, everything else that you need for working, planning your schedule. As far as audio and video comes, it's pretty stock, nothing special there compared to other distros. A cool feature you can see in System Tools is Zorin Connect. That's where you can connect your Android smartphone to your computer through this distribution. I don't have an Android smartphone, so I can't test that out, but I'll open it up, see what it's all about, because I know some people want to see that. I didn't look that hard. It could have just been in File, but I didn't see a way to configure the terminal, different appearance options like you'd see in some other distributions. I was actually really happy with the appearance option, color scheme wise, of the background and of the text in mine. So I didn't check for that, but I'm sure there's a way if you were looking to do that. I forgot to record for a couple minutes, but all I did was go into Software Center, the default Software Center that ships with all of GNOME desktops, and I installed a few things like Genie for super lightweight text editor, Chromium, Discord, IntelliJ, Visual Studio Code, and WebStorm. 3 IDEs I use a lot. All pretty heavyweight, so that's why I have tiers. I have JetBrains tools, Visual Code Studio, then Genie. So now I'm just configuring my desktop in the way I like it. I like in my bar at the bottom, I like having all my browsers to the left, and then my social things, and then I kind of go into development tools, IDE, and then I go to utility things like terminal, software store. Shrinking the height of the panel just shrinks down the icons too. Just makes it so you can fit more. Maybe if I go into extensions, there's a way to shrink down just the icon, but this is small enough. Plus the scrolling is really nice. It's really smooth on the bar. Now I'm going to go ahead and update. Sudo apt update and sudo apt get update, as well as upgrade, are things I do pretty often, a couple of times a day. Whenever I feel like I'm running into an issue, some application's not working, anything else goes wrong, 99% of the time, just updating will fix it. Here are two other things I like to do with every new distro I get. Ubuntu restricted extras. That's basically the Microsoft Office fonts, all those things, just so you're compatible when you have to do work. You don't want to be sending in open source fonts. And I also like to get Brave Browser. I'm a big fan of Brave Browser. Their built-in Brave reward wallet, a lot of other aspects, ad blocking, it's super fast. And the UI on it is incredible. It goes all the way into the tabs for Zorin. Now I'll add Brave to my panel, and then I'll go into Software Center and I'll install Opera, another browser that I like to use. I like the sidebar and it keeps me really organized. That's normally my work browser. Brave is normally my social browser, and then I'll use Chromium or Safari on Mac for a lightweight browser. So as you can see, there are some incredible aspects here with the UI in Brave and a lot of other applications in Zorin. First, again, it has this beautiful cyber carbon theme, huge search text. You just start typing and it searches out of the gate. It's incredible. As you can see on the top too, they completely redid the tabs, made super small tabs, which is great. I love that. And there's no title bar. So no need for your no title bar extensions and all those other things. Just great out of the box. Another thing I like to do on every new installation is install a good media player. So I'm gonna get VLC. It's what I use normally. Always check. Sometimes there's multiple options for certain apps in the Ubuntu or the GNOME software store. So I just checked. One of these is 3.0.4, one's 3.0.7. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the 3.0.7 version. And then if you go into add-ons, you always want to check for additional drivers. So I've integrated Intel graphics. Here's a driver that some distributions suggest, some don't. I don't know. I've seen higher performance using it, so I'm gonna go ahead and download that. And then if you go into shell extensions, this is something that's different from, a stock Ubuntu distribution or another Ubuntu-based distribution where you use the GNOME Tweak tools. So in GNOME Tweak tools, you have your shell extensions in there, and you can adjust them. And I had trouble for about 20 minutes on my first time. I couldn't find out where to get my extensions. But you just go into the Software Center, and it's over in shell extensions. You can do everything you could do in Tweak tools. You just do it right here. These are all the extensions that shipped with the distribution right here. So I'm going to go ahead, turn some that I know I won't use off. So I don't have an Android smartphone, and looking in system resources, I saw that was using some. So I'm going to turn off Zorin Connect. I've never turned on Do Not Disturb, so I'm going to go ahead and just turn that off. I very rarely print, and if I do, I'll turn that on, but no point in just having that, looking for printers all the time. Also don't have a touchscreen, so I'll turn off the on-screen keyboard. So then again, normal store, you see all your extensions here. You can get them if you want. If you're fine with the default UI out of the box, you don't even need them. We'll go ahead and open up System Monitor now, check out what's going on in there. I was trying to time the opening up of my screen recording app with my System Monitor so that it would show unskewed results, but I couldn't do it. So you see it goes 2 gigs and up to 2.5, down a little bit in RAM, and there's a big CPU spike, levels out at 50%. As far as memory goes, after a fresh restart with memory, I'm always getting 1.5 gigs in Zorin OS. That's a little bit better than something like Ubuntu, where I'd be getting anywhere from 1.8 to 2.1. Elementary was normally around the same area, like 1.4 to 1.6. So as far as resource usage, pretty good so far. Go ahead and open up Brave now, and I'll show you guys how you can go about installing you. I'm not going to walk you through the full install, but if you want to see a video on that, let me know. On the top here, you can see Zorin OS 15 Ultimate. That comes pre-installed with the Mac OS theme and a couple other themes there. Comes pre-installed with a ton of apps, ton of games. It has installation instructions. It costs $39, which it goes a little bit against, you know, the open source community of Linux when you're paying for a distribution, but they put together a great product. I might go ahead and buy the $39 version, even though I can configure it myself just to support the project. The next option is Zorin OS 15 Core. That's the one I just downloaded a fresh install of, so everything I had installed already is what you'll get with that. The light version's still in 12.4, so I wouldn't recommend that. I thought about getting the education version for a little bit. I was like, oh cool, comes with some other tools. Then I noticed before I downloaded it that it's still in the 12.4 version as well. So that's something to watch out for. Go with the core or the ultimate version. Can't go wrong with either one. This is really cool. They're launching computers soon, so they're gonna sell laptops or computers. I don't know yet. Shipped with Zorin OS, kind of like System 76 with Pop OS. So if you go over to the downloads page, go to Zorin OS 15 Core. Pick that one, great. Unless you want to go for Ultimate, that's also a great option. And then I'm not actually going to download it right now, so I'll just take you to the page and then go out and then go into your software center. I really like to use for startup disks, startup disk creator. So open that up and you select an ISO and a disk to use. So the ISO should be, if you got core, it's 2.1 gigabytes. It's in your downloads folder. It's what we just got from the website. And then a disk is any USB drive. I wouldn't go below 4 gigabytes. Just whatever you have, as long as it's above that. So if you take a look at my disk, you can see that it's only a 128 gigabyte disk. I have 3 partitions on mine. The first partition is the encryption and the base system for my Mac OS. That one's less than a gigabyte. And then I have my second partition that's 65 gigabytes. That's for Mac OS. I use Mac OS for work sometimes. If I'm doing React Native or Swift development, just a lot easier to have the Xcode command line interface. And then I use a 55 gigabyte partition for running Linux. And I thought I would be eating into swap memory on my Mac OS partition because it only has 10 extra gigabytes now, but I'm not. I don't know why. I don't know the specifics there, but I know that when I was using 100 gigabytes there out of my 128, I was eating into swap memory. But I've been running this configuration for a couple months now, not a problem. That's it for this video. If there's something that I didn't cover about Zorin OS that you guys wanted to see, let me know in the comments below. I'll make another video about it. If you guys want to know how specifically to install a Linux distribution or Zorin, let me know. That'll be really helpful, not just for this distribution, but the process is basically the same for every distribution.